Wildlife officials share shocking news about the newfound threat of zombie snakes. Nature is full of bizarre and terrifying creatures, from poisonous bugs with enormous stingers to boat-sized fish with razor-sharp teeth. You're basically putting your life on the line every time you leave the house. But while most of us would be justified in being afraid of a creature that was alive, what about one that appeared to be dead? After one Ohio man's attempt to rescue a snake ended with the reptile losing its life, he decided to give the creature a proper burial. However, after returning to where he had left the snake, he made a startling discovery that soon had the entire nation wrapped with fear. As Steve Wilson of Blue Jay Barrens made his way to his barn to check the rodent trap he'd set, he expected to find a few unlucky rats that stumbled their way inside. Sure enough, the trap was full, though not with a rodent. Instead, a large brown snake stared back at him, the front half of its body dangling from the cage. The creature had apparently slithered the way inside in search of food, though on its way out, it had lodged itself between the wire mesh of the trap. Hoping to prevent the snake from injuring itself, Wilson grabbed a pair of wire cutters and began working to free the creature. Unfortunately, the snake wasn't going to be cooperative. As Wilson worked to remove the wire, the snake flattened its head and neck in an attempt to chase off its perceived attacker. When that failed, it began hissing loudly and let out a deep guttural noise that was almost a moan. Still, Wilson continued to work on the cage, prompting the snake to begin striking at him with all its might. Strangely, it never once bared its teeth to bite. Instead, it chose only to tap Wilson repeatedly with its nose. Finally, Wilson could slide the snake free from the cage, though as he did, it began to seize in his hand. After expelling the contents of its stomach and bowels, the creature stopped moving and went limp. With the snake dead, Wilson brought it out to the barn and laid it in the grass. He went to the shed to find a shovel to bury the poor creature, though when he returned, he couldn't believe his eyes. The snake was gone. Had a predator simply walked by and scooped the dead reptile up for a free meal? Or were there a different set of forces at play here? Forces that were perhaps supernatural? The North Carolina Division of State Parks and Recreation seemed to have the answer, or at least an idea of what the usual snake really was. Unfortunately, their identification likely did little to settle Wilson's nerves, or anyone else's for that matter. Beneath a Facebook photo of the very same species of snake, the department wrote, "Instead of watching clouds to see if we can keep weekend weather on track, let's play a game. Who is this famous North Carolina snake? A cobra? A zombie snake?" At the mere mention of the so-called zombie snake, the internet was worked into a frenzy. Taking the department's post as a warning, people all over the country began fearing that these undead snakes would soon show up at their doorsteps. As zombie snake hysteria grew, the department realized it had to put an end to these outrageous rumors. No, the creature pictured wasn't some dead reptile come back to life. It was an eastern hognose snake. According to the Savannah River Ecology Laboratory at the University of Georgia, eastern hognose snakes are easily distinguished by their upturned snouts, but they're variable in color. Found all over the eastern United States, these snakes are known as puff adders for their propensity to puff up to ward off predators, just as the snake Wilson found did as he tried to free it. But the snake also has another peculiar defense mechanism: playing dead. When in danger, the eastern hognose will roll onto its back with its mouth agape and lie there until the threat moves on. Strange as the snake may be, the department also wanted to make it clear that eastern hognose posed no threat whatsoever. Even with its tendency to strike and growl, a human would be totally safe if they encountered one. The eastern hognose is a mostly harmless snake that rarely ever bites humans, the department went on to explain. It puts on quite a dramatic display to deter predators, including puffing up its head to look more like a cobra and pretending to be dead briefly. Nevertheless, they are not aggressive and rarely bite people. Funnily enough, this isn't the first time that misinformation about the eastern hognose has caused a stir. One old folktale actually refers to the snake as a blow viper and even claims that its breath is enough to kill a man. Another old myth says that the hognose snake can mix venom with its breath and is thus able to kill a person from a distance of 25 feet, said representatives of the Florida Museum. In truth, its breath is harmless. With this silly misunderstanding cleared up, most people have put aside their fear of zombie snakes terrorizing their town. Still, there are plenty of dangerous reptiles out there that could very well find their way into your home.